They put a hot wire to my head for all the things I did and said to make the bad thoughts go away, a model citizen in every way. Hey guys, welcome back. It is Monday. Monday is fun day. And who am I to say that Monday is fun? Why, I am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming at you 5 nights a week on the livest of streams. And guys, I'm just going to go ahead and be bold and say that I have the best first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons 5 night a week live stream on YouTube. You won't find a better one. I don't think you will. But anyway, good to see you, Lux, Lord Corion, Michael Dale, the Dungeon Minister. Namaste, my friend. How are you? Let's see. Who else is out there? Connect. Hello, hello. And all you folks that might be lurking. But anyhow, I am back. I am here. Saturday, I had a little jaunt over to Timothy Imholt's channel, and we talked about George R.R. Martin versus J.R.R. Tolkien. So you should go check his channel out and give that a look. But as far as this channel is concerned, this live stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures they'd like to play, whether it's for 5th edition, for Castles and Crusades, or for the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebarde, and you can find them on DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com, and we do appreciate them around here. So, Dirty History and Hobbies, hello, how are you? Christopher Sackle, welcome to the show. And if you're new here, if the winds of YouTube have blown you into this lonely little lagoon off in the Spinward Isles here, if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. If you like the video we do, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below and tell me what you liked about it, and I'll do more of it. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down and leave a comment below and tell me what you didn't like about it, and I'll do less of that, possibly. Jorge, good to see you, my friend. How are you? But anyway, it's a long, tiring day for the old Dungeon Delver today. I had jury duty, and that's about all I'm going to say. That, and I walked home from the courthouse. But it was actually that rarest of things. It was a cool spring day here in Florida, so I didn't, broil. But that many miles was that many miles, and it was a miles plural type situation. But anyhow, but as said, that's all I'm going to say. Last week, it does feel like jet lag. No, Kennick, they passed on me. I fulfilled my obligation to the state for the next 365 days. They could tag me again this time next year, but they can't touch me. Anyway, so last week we had a lot of fun. We had Pat Kilbane on last week, and that was ripping fun. You guys should go watch that episode. That was very cool. Pat and I really got on, and I hope he will come back. Dungeon Minister, have a good one. Speaking people, I hope come back. But I hope Pat will come back and be on the show again, because I rather enjoyed his company. All of my guests, I hope, will come back. I've only really ever had like one guest on the show where I'm like, but I ain't gonna get into that right now. And that's not even that they were a bad person. Anyhow, moving right along. So yeah, Pat was on last week. That was a lot of fun. This week, I don't know. Thursday, we may just have a quiet Thursday, guys. Maybe we'll get into some AD&D deep dive stuff. I don't know, guys. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see how things work out. So there's one thing I want to address real quick here, because the time is getting close, and a lot of people who follow me on Twitter but don't follow me on YouTube, but they know that I kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. I have been asked, hey, are you going to GaryCon? And the answer is unquestionably no. I am not going to GaryCon. Would I like to be at GaryCon? Yeah, I would, to see some people. But no, it is beyond my meager financial means, and that is not like a call to action. All right, that's not a clarion call for everyone. I'm just telling you like it is. I'm not whining. I'm not complaining. You guys sent myself and my wife to GaryCon last year, and honestly, I could not ask for more. Hey, Wheeling Dragon, how are you? Big ups and hugs to you, Wheeling Dragon. Love you to pieces. Good to see you here this evening. So anyway, so no, I won't be at GaryCon. I won't be at NTRPG. I won't be at anything. What will happen, however, is we're going to have our own little convention with blackjack and hookers. Actually, I don't know if you guys are going to play blackjack, and if any of you are hookers, I don't want to know about it. But April 24th through English is my first and second language. April 24th to April 28th, guys, we are having the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. That's right. You bring the chips. I've got the guac. Now, if you're wondering what all that is about, what is that string of nonsensical words that you were talking about, Bill? We do an online convention because this is an online community. And you can go right here to Warhorn. And I say that through gritted teeth. You can go right here to Warhorn. I linked to it in the convo. You can sign up to game. You can sign up to run. So far, we've got like 25 people, I think, signed up, which is about halfway of last year's, or maybe. I'll have to go back and look at last year's attendee amounts, but we had a pretty good amount last year. And guys, we're still like well over a month away. So I'm not fronted by that at all, but I do want folks to go and sign up. Right there is the link. It's in the chat. So I'm just going to take it down real quick. Whoops. But anyhow, Wacky, hey, man, gosh, it's been a minute. This is a guy I know from the forums. Wow, my brother. How are you? It's good to see you. And thank you. Thank you very much. Wheeling Dragon signed up. Are you running or playing Wheeling? Either way, I'm going to be in a game with you. That's just going to happen. So yeah, please do go and sign up for the con. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We're having an artist alley on Saturday. Tracy Lesh and Richard Witters. Richard was a guest on the show just a couple of weeks ago. Tracy has been here so many times, but we're going to do an artist alley with those guys. They're going to have prints. They're going to have stuff. They're going to be telling tales out of school about TSR related stuff. If we can coax them into it, may have some other guests. We're definitely going to have door prizes again, guys. There's definitely going to be a prize drawing this time. But listen, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys, I've got to harden up a little bit. You have to be here. You have to be here for the drawing. If I draw your name and you don't comment in the chat like, yo, hey, yay for me or whatever, I'll go on to the next person. I will draw something else for that thing, because I still have the majority of the stuff that Jack Photon sent last year for Guac 2 to give away. I think a bunch of people signed up for the con. They came, they played. They did not subscribe to the show. They did not. They just don't give a fig. So that's fine. Weggy, I really appreciate that, dude. That is awesome. Thank you so much. But guys, I've got boxes and boxes. All right. I've got posters. I've got art prints. I've got canvas prints. I've got stuff that nobody ever claimed. And I emailed people. I emailed them about it. So that's how it's going to be. That stuff's going back in the prize drawings. And anyone who didn't win anything, well, this is your chance this year. So I hope you will come to the Guac and you will sign up for it. If you don't want to be in the prize drawing, tell me I don't want to be in the prize drawing. Please say, don't bother. I don't want your crap. I don't want your extra whatever. And I won't put your name in it. I won't. It'll just be like that. Okay. Damien says, I don't think address worked. My zip code. Ping me in email, Damien, and we'll sort things out. If you haven't, if you're sitting out there and you're saying, wait, I won something and I never got it. Remember, you got to respond with your physical mailing address. I'm not trying to like build a mailing address list that I can sell later, probably. But come back to me in email if you did win something and you never got it. Dirty History and Hobbies wants figs. I recommend the produce section at your local grocery. But anyhow, the drawing will probably be, I'm thinking the drawing is going to be, gosh, when should I do the drawing? Because I don't want to step on anybody's games. I might do the drawing Saturday morning. I think a stream Saturday morning being Eastern US. We'll sort that out. So, hey-o, there's the man. Good buddy of mine there, everybody. Imperial Ramblings. Good to see you. He's why I have this mellifluous tone that you can hear now, because I have this excellent piece of audio kit here now. I have my who makes this thing? No, this isn't like an awesome and expensive mic. He was just like, here you go, man. I don't need this anymore. I don't live stream. So I'm just glad I didn't try and fly it home from Alabama last October. I could see them like the penetrating X-ray thing that they send your stuff through. I could glance, I could see the monitor at the check-in station in the Birmingham airport. And the person was like rotating the mouse and like flipping my leg because I had a GTX 1080 Ti and the round shock mount that the blue snowball mic sat on. I know you don't. I'm just teasing you, man. But no, there will not be free I Seen the Owlbear t-shirts. I'm sorry, but we do have merch. And as soon as Dungeon Minister pulls the string, I will share the merch link with you guys so you can get your free guac merch. I'm looking at my guac pint glass over on the other side of the table, in fact, from Guac One. And by the way, it's not like, well, I can't get merch for the first ever guac. That sucks. No, all the guac designs will stay up. But yeah, no, getting this mic through, in addition to like the shock mount for the other microphone, the video card, they would have like pulled me off to the side, I think, and had a sit down discussion with me. So I'm glad that didn't go down. Anyway, moving right along. So that is the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. Go to Warhorn. I will paste that link one more time. Tonka Todd, there you go. Now, I want to talk for a little bit about the negative that is going on with the guac right now. It is currently going through Warhorn. I'm not a fan of Warhorn. Last year it was kind of, little stop-starty getting registered on Warhorn. This year, there seemed to be like 3 roadblocks in front of everybody with getting stuff set on Warhorn. And I know we just, like the first guac we did, we did one service, one online gaming service, and I don't remember what it was, but it was like a Facebook kind of thing, and I don't think it really fit well for us. The second year we did Warhorn, and there were some kinks in it, some bumps in the road, but we made it work, and I think there was a good response. This year it's Warhorn again, and they appear to have changed a lot of things that I don't think are a change for the better. Next year, we will be using something different. Most likely, we will be using tabletop events. Hello, George Leacona. Good to see you. We'll be using tabletop.events, which is what all the major cons use. So assuming I can come to grips with the UI over tabletop.events, that's what we'll use next year. This year, I don't want to tell everybody, all 25 or so of you that have signed up, hey, go and go to a different site and sign up and just start everything again. So we've just got to power through for another month with Warhorn, and then we will bid them a fond farewell and thank them for their service. I'm not slagging them or their product. It just doesn't work well for me. I will say that their support has kind of been on the spot, but despite that, I've still had people come back to me with registration issues. And I don't like the fact that certain things can be turned over to you guys. Like, not there is not a single person I'm addressing here, but there are some levels of control and manipulation of the schedule that I have to turn over to users to allow them to schedule their own games. That is, in my opinion, a potential security problem, not in that they can schedule their own games, but in that it gives a universal ability to change the game schedule. You see where this would be a problem. And that's just like, well, you can have this on, or you, the organizer, can do it manually yourself. And I already don't have enough hours in the day. Imperial, you're going to miss the convention. You have to paint and install cabinets. So from like 9 to, or from 7 to 11, On Saturday night, you have to be painting and installing. No, you don't. I'm sorry.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally
7 to 11 Saturday night. You're not going to be painting and installing cabinets, my bro. But anyway, so no, that is Central. Wheeling Dragon, that's Central, 7 to 11. That would be 8 to midnight Eastern Standard. I'm teasing Bo / Imperial Ramblings, but because he is Central also. So 7 to 11 Eastern Standard. But then we're on from like midday Wednesday to like midday Sunday. So anyway, so that is the last of the, oh, stop it. Eastern Standard is the best. Anyway, that is all of the Great Underground Online Convention stuff. Now, let's talk other RPG news. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, are you going to back this Gazern thing that Luke Gygax is doing? And the answer is simply no, I'm not. I'm not going to back it. It is too expensive for what you get. The physical stuff is way too expensive for what you get, in my opinion. And Luke's already said when he's working on his dad's notes and stuff that he wants to bring in, that he's going to be, in my opinion, defanging them. All right. Things like teleporter traps and sliding rooms and sloping halls and stuff like that. That's not what modern gamers want. So we're not putting that in there. Well, Luke, I think that's a mistake, bud. I think that's a mistake. So I'm not going to be backing it. So, to quote a certain football coach, I know Imperial Ramblings is know who I'm talking about this. So quit asking, height. That's for you, Bo. But anyway, so yeah, I can't foresee it. But if you want to check it out, go check out Luke Gygax's thing. I get email updates about it, even though I have no particular interest in it. What else? Gaming news. So there is a video. Now, the video itself is actually a few weeks old. And maybe I can do a react video on it, at least the portion that I want to discuss, but I'm not going to do it live. It's essentially a couple of devs at WotC talking about how much they hate original D&D and they hate the creators of original D&D because they're too Caucasian and too male. And I have a lot of opinions about that. I had a long, tiring day today, particularly coupled with that multiple miles walk to get back to my house from the courtroom. So I really don't want to angry up. Suffice to say, I think the two people in it are about as smart as a couple of heads of lettuce. And that's an insult to some lovely heads of lettuce I've eaten in my lifetime. If you know the video, you know I'm not deliberately like being obtuse about this. It's literally they're talking about the history of Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards of the Coast has failed, massively failed as stewards of Dungeons and Dragons. They know that. They knew it last year when my channel blew up and a whole lot of YouTube D&D blew up. They knew they'd failed. They knew they'd screwed up. And they knew they'd screwed up because you had the 5e Critical Role fans and the grognards and everybody in between. We were standing shoulder to shoulder. The only fix, I didn't, Michael Dale. Please send me a link. is to turn us against each other. And how do you do that in the social space these days? You jump over to a side that is activist, you ally yourself with them, and you point at the other side and say they're ists and phobes. And then you step back because now those two sides are arguing at each other. You've ginned up enough, and that's how you fracture the community again. Wizards of the Coast does not want a united community. They never want a united community. Everybody from original Dungeons and Dragons to latest and greatest. I literally got this PDF downloaded today. D&D fans in January and February of 2023, we stood unified. They had to blink. And they've made sure that that will never happen again. And how they've done that is they've allied themselves with the more modern D&D crowd and pointed at fans of, at this point, antique Dungeons and Dragons and said, the guys that made the D&D they like are a bunch of racists. And let me just speak to the fans of 5th edition, new D&D. You follow what Wizards of the Coast has to say. If you believe them, you're an idiot. The billion-dollar corporation is not your friend. They aren't. If the social media tide turned 180 degrees tomorrow, they would abandon you, and they will abandon you. They are the ones, they wrecked D&D. They knew they wrecked D&D. And they'll never, ever, ever make the mistake of giving all of us unity again. So that's it. I've held forth and I've lost 7 watchers for it. So, you know, speak truth to power. It's going to offend somebody. So that's the RPG news. Now let's talk about something else. Miniatures. I have cool miniature stuff to show to you guys. This is not per se. Sometimes, okay, if you're new to the show, sometimes we show off painted miniatures. Sometimes it's something 3D printed, sometimes it's old lead, sometimes it's new lead, sometimes it's new plastic. Sometimes, like tonight, it's a cool piece of terrain. So let's take a look. Let's go over to the table cam and have a look at this. This lovely piece right here, folks. Do I have my pointer stick? No, of course I don't have my pointer stick. I don't even have my pointer sisters. But anyway, that piece you see on the screen right there, that is from the Miniature Building Authority. That is the medieval graveyard. And that particular piece, I think, did my wife get that for me, or some friends bought that for me? That all of that is resin. I know it might look like, oh well, the tree is it's foliage, But that particular piece there, and I'm going to scoot over and pick that up, but you can see that is a solid chunk of resin, and you can, you can not have it on there. And it's good for scale gaming or just setting up a nice scene. Maybe you've got a nicely painted vampire mini and you want to have some investigators. And if you're the type of person to use miniatures with Call of Cthulhu or something like that, then it might, you have some investigators investigating some ghouls right there in that cemetery. And you guys have kind of caught a glimpse of it over on the shelf when I've done diorama scenes over yonder, but it is 28 millimeter scale. The tree is awesome. I have used that tree as an in-game Christmas tree before. Like the monument with the obelisk on top. Yeah, the gravestones, the markers are all very well done. Everything Miniature Building Authority does is exceptionally well done. So that is the miniature tonight, and I hope you guys like it. You know what? I don't know if they still sell that, but let's see. Let's take a quick Gandar. Mini Building Authority. All right. If it is, well, we'll look at it together. I'm going to bring up their page. They aren't show sponsors or anything. I just love their stuff. It's like it is above ground Dwarven Forge, if I may be so bold. And let's add a screen. So yeah, Miniature Building Authority. I went to a local convention and I saw them with a table about 4 times the size of that, covered in their medieval town. Now, if you notice, the centerpiece right there is the Tudor Inn that I have, which they unfortunately don't sell anymore. But let's take a quick look here at some of their stuff. And they do sell miniatures now. Oh my gosh, little naughty little pole dancer there. So let's see, departments, buildings. Is it the Euro Village buildings? Yeah, graveyard right there, $49.95. It was a shade less expensive. I think it was $39 when that was bought for me, but their prices really haven't gone up that much. But you can see they've got a smithy, they've got ruined buildings. I kick myself for not buying these, but I probably would have not needed them in the long run. But they used to sell a line of 15 millimeter World War II buildings that you could either have as ruined or intact. They were cut cleverly so you could pick the tops up off and they would look like this, or you could put them back down and they would look intact. I also have the ruined cottage somewhere, which I will show you guys another time. But I do have their ruined cottage. But you can just kind of take that in. And you might be asking me, hey, what would be more efficient? Would it be this or a 3D printer? For resin, this is actually still still efficient. For you can see their castle there. For FDM, I would say it's probably about even because FDM's a plastic hassle, no pun intended. Let me see here. High adventure. It's not high adventure buildings. Well, let's look at fantasy buildings. I think we're going to get a lot of crossover. Causeway Gatehouse, Boatman's House, Merchant's House. But these are lovely pieces, and I'm so glad I have the ones that I do. Harbor Town buildings. And they kind of mix and match. You'll see pieces pop up again. The one that I curse myself for not getting, they actually had a Hobbit hole. They had Bag End in 28 millimeter, and it wasn't expensive. It was like $69.99. And I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it because I'm a dum-dum. Let's see. Castle buildings. So you get the walls of various type. And so on and etc. So it is not inexpensive stuff, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and I recommend it. I recommend it. Have to get the Japanese Garden Gate for Oriental Adventures campaign. Very cool, very cool. But anyway, so we've talked about RPG news. We've talked about guac. We've talked about the miniature of the week. The week ahead, we kind of touched on that a little bit. So tonight, of course, we're doing this. Tomorrow night, we are playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for your edutainment, if I may. And guess what? We have another player. That's right. Someone else has joined the fray. That's going to be a bit of a surprise. But there will be another player in the game, and I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Wednesday night, I will not be going to a movie Wednesday night. Kyle will be here, and we will see what Kyle is going to run for us. Kyle will be running a game. Thursday night. No, Michael, I haven't offed them. Thursday night, we will be just us hanging out. We're gonna be doing a D&D deep, but we're gonna be doing a tabletop RPG deep dive of some kind. No guest. We have had like 5. It feels like a month of guests, and I've enjoyed all of them. But it's gonna be us. We're just gonna hang out. And Friday, we're going back to Gamma. We're going back to Gamma. I do think so. We're going to be playing Gamma World on Friday night. And then the following week, we just start the whole shebang over again. So I absolutely recommend you watch. But anyhow, New Game Wednesday Conflict AD&D is running 4th edition. No. He knows not to do that. I don't know if he'll do OD&D, AD&D, or what. We'll just have to see. I know I've leaned heavily on fantasy, man. I'm ready to draw steel. I just wish he'd let us run the characters we wanted. Anyway. Mercury Well says, can't believe how busy I am in the mornings these days, listening in and loving every moment. Huh. I'm glad you've been enjoying, Mercury. But anyhow, collecting chaos, you're late again. That's okay. That's okay. We'll just start it over. Let me hit the credits button. So what else is news? I've been 3D printing. I have printed the last pieces for Paul Stormberg's Temple of Elemental Evil for GaryCon. I told him I would paint them for him to take a little bit of the load off. So, hey, Ryan David, welcome. I'm doing all right, Dungeon Delvers. Original Traveler, sort of Cepheus. That's pretty deep diving stuff there. Graph paper. What do you mean? Yes, the con is entirely online. Temple of Elemental Evil, it's funny because it is very jarring. I do not, from a DMing standpoint, recommend that you run Temple of Elemental Evil for a quote unquote beginning. Let's say you've got a small adventuring group. Let's say you have 9 players, a very small, very manageable number, right, Ryan? 9 players. That's a nice compact group of players. I'm not going to Gary Congraf. I wish I was. But anyway, so that group, by the time they have cleaned out the moat house and done the random encounters that they can possibly run into, that group will maybe gain a couple 3 levels each at most, or at moats. See what I did there? What do you people know from funny? Anyway, so that then asks the question, well, that's T1. What about 2, 3, and 4? That's not survivable with 3rd level characters. It becomes a slaughterhouse. It is an utter death trap. One of the reasons I do not like T1 to 4, the Temple of Elemental Evil, is because the difficulty curve immediately hockey sticks. Now, I am well aware that a party can run away from some things. An average 2nd or 3rd level party will spend the entire adventure running away from everything. Party needs to go off somewhere and level up more. I would recommend, from a DMing standpoint, if you have the chops to tie it all together, here is what I recommend you do. Run Temple of Elemental Evil, get the party first up to, run Village of Hamlet just up to the moat house. Hey, you've won, whatever. Leave it off there. Tell the party that they're needed down on the Wild Coast. Send them through A1 through A4. By the time they come out of A4, they will be strong enough to tackle T2, 3, 4. That is it. Or, as Weggy says, as a DM, you make Nulb an adventuring hub, but do not breadcrumb the party straight from the moat house right into the temple. It'll just be a TPK. I don't know what Gary's original plan for T2, the Temple of Elemental Evil, was, but to quote the progressive lady, not this. Hey, Boone Flyer. So take it from me, you do not make that jump. And if I was going to say, look, here's the grand tour, I would go T1, A1, 2, 3, 4. S2, S4, WG4, the back half of Temple of Elemental Evil, and then the GDQ series. Right? Can't we just... It's 50. It's not 75. That's ridiculous. That's why you have fighting men, Ryan. That's why you have your henchmen and your henchmen and your hirelings. So when your PC dies, you just hand the next note card to the dungeon master. So that is what I would do for the Grand Tour, but I definitely don't recommend the. Now, I mean, there's the flip side. Okay, there's the flip side, which is you take the levels 9 through 14 or 7 to 12 or whatever. You know what? Let me see. Can I do this without killing myself? That's always the question. Can I reach up here and grab a module without causing a commotion? That's B1 to 9. I don't know if I have a T1 to 4. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So the recommended, the look here is, see, this is campaign for character levels 1 to 8, and I just don't feel like it is appropriate for first level characters to get past the village of Hamlet and then jump into Nulb and the ruins. But on the flip side, you can say, well, what if I just start a high level party? Well, then the village of Hamlet's going to be a cakewalk. It's like the moat house is just going to be like a non-issue. So you could potentially strengthen the moat house, more memorable and tougher monsters in the moat house. So those are just a couple of approaches to the leveling, the difficulty spike in Temple of Elemental Evil. Yeah, 1st through 8th level. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it's in the Temple of Elemental Evil super module and it's good, it's Gary's. If it's in there and it's bad, it's Frank Menzer's. You think it's possible that Hamlet was thrown as a red herring and supposed to be deceptively easy? That's a good question, actually, Ryan. That is a good question. I would posit that possibly that's true. Because you got to remember, and we touched on this, and I think this is literally like, this is one of those places where, like, if I had been working with Gary, and I know I did work with Gary, and I know that Gary had like, when he wanted to do something in his adventure and was set for it to be that way, that's the way it was going to be, and it wasn't going to be any other way, and he would tell you flat out. And I'm going to give you an example of that. In Teeth of the Bark Eshnor, there is a goblin lair. And you might think, oh, cool, a dungeon full of goblins too. No. 400 goblins in a room with their leader. That's the encounter. I asked Gary if I could make it like a Kirith Ungol kind of place where there's rooms and chambers and so. No. Leave it untouched. Leave it exactly as it is. Hey, Lightmane, how are you? So I left as it is. So if Teeth of the Bark Eshnor ever gets published, you're going to find a chamber with 400 goblins in it. I'm sorry. That's not what I wanted to do either. So Gary could be fairly set in his ways. So I know that is how that goes. There is an encounter in Village of Hamlet that I very much think Gary that I would have come a cropper with Gary, and it is the assassin. If the party is entirely successful, have a 10th level assassin show up. If the party susses him out and manages to not die, Send another one. And I'm very sorry, Gary, wherever you are. That to me is kind of like, how many of you guys remember Doom 2? All right. Like the first 3 levels of Doom 2. To me, that's like, oh, okay, well, I have the rocket launcher. I have 5 rockets. I've got the shotgun. I've got, maybe 20 rounds for the shotgun. Of course, I got 50 rounds of pistol ammo. Here's an arch vial. You open up the exit at the end of the first Doom 2 map, and here's an arch vial. If you don't know what an arch vial is, it's a demon in Doom 2 that if it has line of sight, it can essentially cast Flame Strike. And it does like 150 points of damage. Oh, and they can raise demons you've already killed back from the dead. They are insanely dangerous foes. That is what that is like. That's what having that assassin show up is like. I don't even know if that's in you know what? Let's do a mini deep dive here real quick. Oh, 36 folks in the chat. That's awesome. This is where we're going along. So let's see. All right. Yeah, he took it out of Temple of Elemental Evil. The assassin isn't mentioned in Temple of Elemental Evil. There's no reason for it. It's spiteful. It's not anything that can be avoided. It is 12-year-old, you beat my dungeon, a red dragon shows up, breathes fire, you all die, no save. Oh, yeah, nice nice Bard's Tale reference there. So you don't want to use that. It's just, it is a broken encounter. I also, man, one of these days, Paul Stormberg is going to have 5 more minutes free, and we'll have him on the show. And we'll talk about the references to Loth and the Temple of Elemental Evil. Guys, there is a rabbit hole. There is a rabbit hole behind the presence of Loth in a mention in Village of Hamlet that is as deep as the Vault of the Drow. It is, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, it's your Kaiser Soze moment. You sit back and you start looking at all the references, and your mind will be blown. I thought for the longest damn time, the reference to Loth in Village of Hamlet was a bug. It's not. It's a feature. And a very, 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 very clever dungeon master will understand why. But you have to be steeped in Greyhawk lore. You have got to be the stuff that really wouldn't have been available to you in 79 or 78, whenever the original Village of Hamlet came out. But there's stuff that if you draw from Temple of Elemental Evil, the GDQ series, Gary's, notional things he said. And once you start pulling all that in, it all just kind of clicks. And I would love to have Paul explain that for you guys. That would be awesome. Maybe this summer we can get Paul on. Oh, it's more than just foreshadowing. It's more than just as it is, it's foreshadowing. But once you start, once you step back from the single thread and you see how they're all woven together, rather like a web, you're like, that wasn't a mistake at all. Holy crap. Martin Webb. No, I didn't say a Martin Webb, but and it's more than just that. It's more than just Loth. There are a number of subtle things in both the GDQ series and Temple of Elemental Evil. Again, things that cross over. And when Paul started explaining it to me, I was like, oh, damn. It's like when I was a kid and I found out that the final cut was actually Pink Floyd's The Wall Part 2. But that's another discussion. So I'm not saying you should not play Temple of Elemental Evil. On the contrary, I think you should. I just think this is like a stock 81 Chevy Malibu that you just bought. It's that year. You just bought it. Yeah, you can just keep it like this. But the real fun comes in customizing it. The real fun comes in customizing it. Lareth is not kidding around. He's got that staff of striking. He's got the stats. He's got the looks. Let's make lots of money. Yeah, the fight with Lareth can be really, really tough. Oh, yeah, Dirty History and Hobbies knows what I'm talking about. So, if you're going to do the Grand Tour with your players, if you're going to do the Grand Tour, there's a lot of stuff. And I do absolutely recommend you tie A1 to 4 in with both TOEE and the Giants. If for no other reason than just out of nowhere, Drow show up in A2, I believe, and A3 and A4. Yeah, Dungeon Delver, you've got the Dungeon Delvers. God, that's weird. Still weird. You've got the right of it. Modules are for DMs to customize, and I've talked about this at length before. Don't just take the shrink wrap off the module and run it as is. Make it fit. The term module means that it fits into something. So you make it fit. Okay, Tomb of Horrors doesn't seem to make any sense. Lol. It's the meme dungeon. Make it fit. Make a reason why it's where it is, other than it just is. Make it fit your campaign. And I'm not talking about making it realistic. Like Modular Man. Hey, Dungeon Minister, welcome back for the time that you're here. Speaking of time, I'm going to check the time because I've got first edition AD&D tonight, but we can hang for a few more minutes. We can hang for a few more minutes. Ugh. But anyway, do you guys have any questions for me? Any D&D related questions you want to ask? pop them in the chat real quick. I will again say, as we just roll over to 1 hour, I will say that if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. And if you like the video, once again, click the thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. I don't know. How do I always manage to be so freaking awesome? I don't know. Am I? Am I freaking awesome? I have no idea. I mean, I sit behind a camera and I try to bring positivity to tabletop gaming, and sometimes the wet sand comes down the sluice and just buries me. It's all I can do to keep my lips above the muck and breathe. Oh, thank you, Mercury. Let's see. If they make it through the temple, they can go down to the Tomb of Horrors. And if they get through that, they end up in Ravenloft. Yikes. Yikes. That's scary. Finger says, I'm essentially turning B1, turning that B1 module into a seat of government in an Outer Bandit kingdom. Like it. I like it. And I completely understand, Ryan. Believe me, I understand. That is, but anyway. This is okay. Since you guys are not asking any questions, I'm just going to talk about this. Now, I've said this before, and this has to do with positivity. This is a positivity speech. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Tabletop RPG Twitter is fun. And Twitter can be fun if you curate your feed and you don't step in poop. Don't click on the political links. Don't let screeching people screech at you. It can be fun. Twitter can be fun. I've said that. I've never played to the point where we have encountered. I have had a character encounter Loth. Unfortunately, Lord Corion. All of my D&D stories from 1981 to today of long-term play are as a DM. I have never played as a player in an extremely long-term campaign. That's just never happened. But to go back to the other thing, there was like a couple of months when it just like, I'd go to bed, I'd wake up the next day, 100 followers on Twitter, 75 during the day. It was crazy. And it stopped. I've hit literally like 3597 followers, and it's just stopped. It went over 600 this weekend, and then like 7 people unfollowed me. So like, is there like a float delimiter or something? Like it gets this full and then it like automatically drains. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Serious question. I play a dwarf that loves cooking and is obsessed with having a tavern that serves exotic. That's the plot of Delicious in Dungeon. Have I ever ran characters that can eat the monsters? How much edible meat is on an owl bear? Most of my players have always ever treated intelligent or even semi-intelligent monsters as off the menu. So no Minotaur steaks, no owlbear hot wings. But if you're asking, about a third of any given animal is usable meat when we're talking about bipeds. Do I like long games or one shots? At home, long games. My campaign, my Monday night game, which I'm going to here in a little bit, my Monday night game has been going on for 10 years. The front half of the campaign was 4. We've been going for about 6 years on this part of the campaign. Trichinosis and bird flu. No, but it is damn funny, ironic revenge, Lux. If you cook Disenchanter, does it still affect warm magic items? I could have some fun with that, like with creatures that are naturally magical, that can just do naturally magical stuff. Like, drow have an innate spell casting ability, that sort of thing. You feed them a little Disenchanter, and and suddenly they can't until it's passed. How about a Griffin or a Hippogriff hot wings? Again, at the very dumbest, they're semi-intelligent. Besides, the wing would be this big, my dude. Wheeling Dragon wants to find the Discord. Okay. All right. Don't come at me next week if you're watching this video at some point in the future and say it doesn't work anymore. Because I know this link expires. Discord is effed up. I can't fix this. All right. I've tried. I want a permanent invite to my Discord. Sure thing. This link never expires. Here you go, guys. This link never expires. Bill, that link expired. So follow it right now. Follow it right now. Feed a Jinn some Disenchanter to make the assassination look natural. Yeah, I haven't seen the anime of Delicious in Dungeon yet. I have not. I want to. Wonderful. Thank you. Hello to Mr. Webb and Wheeling Dragon. I read the manga to a point, and then I stopped, but as I understand it actually ends. Yeah, there are places in the world where monkey brains are a delicacy, and there are places in the world where prion disorders are rampant. So I'm not gonna do that. So it's made from owlbear. Have you ever tried solo role playing? Hey, thank you, Michael Dale, for the super chat. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Mondays can still be super. That's right. Have I ever tried solo role playing? Have I ever tried solo role playing? I don't know. Let me see. Mountain of Mirrors, Starship Traveler, City of Thieves. Over here, I've got the Sorcery Spellbook, the Shamutanti Hills, and what's that one? What's this one? The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. So yeah, I've tried some solo role playing. I have done that thing before. And of course, I mean, you can make the argument that it's not really role playing because who are you playing your role to? Yeah. Choose your own adventure is as well. Choose your own adventures is. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. That that walk back today from the Hall of Justice kind of zapped me. Yeah, it's funny. As good as the D&D sort of choose your own adventure books were, what were they called? So I have Rose Estes copy here. Endless Quest. As good as the Endless Quest books were, the solo modules were horrible. The pen, you had to have the little lemon juice pen. What is the best monster all around that can be tweaked and used over and over? That's easy. The dragon. I love the fact that there are good dragons and that there are bad dragons. Evil dragons. You can clip that for your show, Ryan. There are so many different types. Now I usually I kind of prefer, the black, white, red, green, blue, silver, copper, bronze, gold, platinum. Although platinum is Bahamut, there's just the one. But yeah, silver, gold, copper, bronze. But yeah, dragons, there's so many fun role play opportunities. I've had parties like bump into metallic dragons who are just hanging out and just go right past. I've dropped so many hints and they were just like, whatever. It's surprising how many times I've had good dragons show up. Evil dragons seem to have shown up less frequently on the random tables, but that's just the fate of the dice. I mean, in general, you're going to have evil ones show up more often. Like those things, I think the Wyvern is a lot of fun. I love the Chimera and the Gorgomera. I absolutely adore those beasts, not least of all because they have very cool miniatures. I only said that once, Ryan. Evil dragons. Yeah, Damien knows what I'm talking about. Yes, I do. So here's my dragon role play as I do them. Green dragons are bestial. They're territorial. Their only interests are killing, eating, hoarding treasure, and making more dragons. And they absolutely do not care for the balance of anything. Blue dragons are a little bit more conniving. They can be negotiated with. Black dragons are a lot more sinister than green dragons. They will plot and scheme. and I play them accordingly. A black dragon is apt to hire assassins, like a bunch of half-orc assassins, to do its dirty work for it. White dragons are like stultifyingly officious pricks, but they're still evil. Red dragons, think Richard Boone's portrayal of Smaug from the 1977 The Hobbit animation. Over on the metallic side, the good side, copper dragons are I don't know if you'd say nebbish about a multi-ton acid breathing monster, but they're very territorial, to the point that, you know, as long as you're not bothering me, I'm not going to bother you, and everyone's going to stay out of my way. But I would like some of that treasure you've got. No? You're sure? Bronze dragons are parochial, avuncular. Bronze dragons are apt to be very like just the wise old man of the woods, but in dragon form. Yes, James, I just looked down and noticed that. Silver dragons are well, no, let's go with brass dragons. Brass dragons are kind of like the Labrador retrievers of dragonkind. They're very sweet. They're very protective of humans, to the point that if you find yourself in the clutches of a brass dragon, they're more likely than not to not want you to go. But not to the point of harming you to stop you. Silver dragons are very high-minded and philosophical. Very lawful, good cleric in nature. A good party that approaches a silver dragon likely has an ally for life. Their lives, anyway. Yeah, that's a good take on it. Gold dragons are just munificent, kingly or queenly. Think of them as the Galadriel of dragons. If I were a dragon, what color would I be? I'd go copper. Anyway, Damien, get out. All right. I want to answer this question because it's a really good one. James Seymour asks, any recommendation for drop-in third-party works for D&D? Yes. Now he's going to think I'm blowing sunshine up his hinder, but I'm absolutely not. Ryan's Village of Greenhaven. Look, the fact is, there's 100,000 dungeons. If you laid every dungeon quarter end to end, it like at scale, you could extend out beyond the orbit of Jupiter, I think, probably. Towns and villages are far too rare. Get the Village of Greenhaven. It is system agnostic. Just go get it off of drive-thru. So that's what I think about that. But that is a good third-party work for D&D, and it just drops right in. Now I say drops right in. Of course, you're going to want to you fit it to your own setting. There may be stuff in there you don't want to use. There might be stuff in there you do want to use. No, the Tarrasque is the Tarrasque. Read up on it. It's historical. Now, I know what you're saying, Lux. I think that's just about got it. I don't think I missed anyone's questions. So I'm going to wrap up there because I've got AD&D to play here in about 10 minutes. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I want to, but I'm not going to. No, thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Michael Dale, for the super. I appreciated it. Always nice to have a little something in the kitty. I do appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. And again, if you haven't, please click the subscribe button. Like the video if you like the video. I will see everyone tomorrow night. We will be playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with our crew plus a new. Yeah, until then, guys, be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And Dragon Schmaggin, you know what you guys got to watch out for? The owl bears. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.